Hi, it is Deborah Ariel Peach, and I'm here to talk to you about loving yourself. And this is probably one of the most important relationships that we have, and the least focused on or talked about. And I do believe that as we are moving through this transformation and awakening, that this is one of the most important things for us as a foundational way of being with ourselves, is to focus on loving ourselves and to really have some attention to how you actually feel about yourself. And this is moving out of the old paradigm of the way that people used to think about loving yourself in a way of vanity. This has nothing to do with that. This has everything to do with accepting who you are, and not only accepting who you are, but proactively loving who you are. And in order for us to transform and awaken and remember who we are, this is a really pivotal foundational aspect and relationship. And so some of the things to be aware of, if you aren't, and if this is you just starting on your loving yourself journey, which I have also put together a free 108 days email series that will come to you called I Am Loving Myself Now. So if this is wherever you are in your journey, some of the things that I just want to shine a light on and to bring to awareness is that this is an inside job, and that once you get to the place of really loving yourself, that there's nothing outside of you that can knock you off balance, at least for very long. And that place that we can go inside of ourselves and to really shine a light on what it is that our hearts desire, that we dream about, and that brings us joy and happiness. And I think that we've really gotten away from that, and it's time for us to get back. The pendulum is swinging back, and to do the inside work to really get to a place of loving yourself. And if we are to experience heaven on earth or anything like that, a peaceful planet, it starts within. It starts here. And so, and here's, you know what, this is what's also just coming in right now. I want to make the distinction that I live a very peaceful and loving life in many ways. Now, one of the things that I just want to preface here is that that does not mean sugarcoating or not being honest with yourself when there's things that come into your world that upset you. So I just wanted to make that distinction, and that hopefully as you learn how to, or that you further engage in self-processing and being your own guru and things like that, there's going to be less and less things that actually trigger you. But in regards to loving yourself, this is so important and such a pivotal aspect of us grounding this heaven on earth experience and shining the light on all those aspects of ourselves that we're not loving. Now, if you haven't seen the videos I've posted in regards to what are our shadows, what are projections, take a look at those, because those are two key elements in our experience that if you have an awareness about them and what that is, and then what yours are and how you're dealing with that, especially with your shadows. And also, let me just preface one of the things. I co-produced a film. It's a docudrama with the queen of shadow work, and that is Debbie Ford. And the film is called Shadow Effect. And so she did a fabulous job, and then we collectively put this project together. She does a fabulous job of really explaining what our shadows are. So I just wanted to put that out there, and that I was blessed to be able to work with Debbie. And so some of the questions that I tell my clients and the people that I'm working with to ask yourself, to really engage and to determine if you're loving yourself, is how are you making your choices? Are you basing life choices on need or fear? Or are you basing life choices on, is this in alignment with me loving myself? Now, this can be as big as, you know, purchasing a home, in a relationship, career, job, life purpose, and as small and mundane as the food, and this is not mundane or small, but I'm just going to bring it down, as the food choices that we're making, or as the daily activity that we're choosing. And are we getting caught up in distractions and too much of the doingness and not enough of the giving yourself free time to be quiet and to be in honor of who you are and to honor your quiet time, etc. So that's another thing, is to ask yourself, am I honoring myself? And one of the things, it was difficult for me to actually, when I was awakened in '87, I was doing a personal development seminar, and that's when I really started presence integrity in a huge way. And so when I give my word to something, that's my word. I live by my integrity. And so it was a little bit challenging for me, because sometimes to make this jump, I needed to learn how to honor myself. If it came to something that I actually, then I wasn't in flow of doing, and if it wasn't loving of myself in that very moment to be committed to, let's say going to a party or going and doing this project or whatever, I needed to learn how to be able to not be out of integrity, but to be integrity with myself and be able to communicate that with the people that I may be affecting by my changing of my plans, or not having it be about just not wanting to, but just presencing in my communication, like, you know what, I'm going to actually honor where I'm at right now. I'm feeling like I need some quiet time. I'm not feeling like I want to actually go and be in amongst a bunch of people right now. And so can you please just accept my apologies, and I am going to renegotiate that, you know, that commitment or whatever. Now, you don't need to actually use those words, but I'm just speaking those because it's the beingness that's coming through as well. And loving yourself and honoring yourself for where you're at moment to moment. Now, one of the other things that I just want to make sure that I bring up here is that when other people love us unconditionally and we're not loving ourselves, it's a missed opportunity. It won't work. And I've had the experience in my life of being in a situation when I was younger that I was loved unconditionally by an amazing man, and I couldn't receive his love. And I didn't discover it until years later. And by that time, he was actually very ill with cancer and ended up crossing over. And he's somebody that I definitely would be in relationship with. And I was young, and I wasn't able to receive his love. And I've also been in the opposite situation where I am loving unconditionally, and that other person is not able to receive that love unconditionally. Especially if we're used to having situations where we're not being loved unconditionally. We're used to that, like, struggle or the friction, you know, and it's hard to break out of that comfort zone, or it can be challenging to break out of that comfort zone. But that's another reason for all of us to become loving of ourselves. There's a song that I have in the 108 Day series that is by Ricky Beckwith from Agape, and she gave me permission to use it, and it's called I Love Myself So Much So I Can Love You So Much. And it's so true. And so I'm holding space and stepping up and creating opportunities for people to love themselves. And so that we can all, we're in this together, so that we can live in a peaceful planet and experience that four-letter word, love, on a regular basis. It's also funny, I was visiting my parents and I came into the house and I was on the phone with a male friend and I said, okay, love you. Yep, okay, talk to you later. And they're like, who is that? Are you in love? I was like, oh, we all say I love you to each other. I haven't been around them in like 5 years, and I moved away like 25 years ago. But that is like a normal thing, even with business associates, because it's like the lines are blurred anyway. It's like business friends, soulmates, right? And they were just like, oh, okay. But it was very much out of their comfort zone and realm. They thought, oh my God, she's in a relationship. She hasn't said what the la la. Okay, so in any case, the website is Wake Up Shift. Shift is Happening TV, and also IamLovingMyself.com for the 108 days. And this is just a really, just a reminder that it's really important for us to love ourselves. And wherever you are in your journey, that you acknowledge yourself and that you honor yourself and that you remember that you are not alone. We are in this together. There's however many billions of people going through whatever transformation they're going through right now. So remember to reach out. This has everything to do with accepting who you are, and not only accepting who you are, but proactively loving who you are. And in order for us to transform and awaken, and remember, for us as a foundational way of being with ourselves, is to focus on loving ourselves and to really have some attention to how you actually feel about yourself. And this is moving out of the old paradigm of the way that people used to think about loving yourself in a way of vanity. This has nothing to do with... Hi, it is Deborah Ariel Peach, and I'm here to talk to you about loving yourself. And this is probably one of the most important relationships that we have, and the least focused on or talked about. And I do believe that as we are moving through this transformation and awakening, that this is one of the most important things